If someone walked up to you today and they were living without the safety and stability of a roof over their head, would you give them $1 million or would you let them know about Jesus? And which one would take them from where they are today to where they need to be for the rest of their life? The answer to that question is crucial. And the answer to that question that we want to talk about today may change the way that you work with people in need. So if somebody walked up to you and they were living without the safety and stability of a roof over their head, and you literally had the chance to either give them $1 million in that moment or tell them about your relationship with Jesus, introduce them to Jesus, which would you do? More to the point, which should you do? And the answer that we're trying to tell you, what we're trying to express to you today, is that you have to tell them about Jesus. Is that if you give them $1 million in that moment, in all likelihood, their life may change for a moment, but for the rest of their life, they will not be changed unless they have that defining moment where they come to know that Jesus is the answer for all the problems that they have. The solution to issues like homelessness, like poverty, are rooted in our definition of it. So if we believe that people who are experiencing homelessness, who are living in the cycle of poverty, are simply lacking resources, then our response to that issue that they have in their life will be to give them resources. More and more resources, more and more things. But what we found is that resources alone will not solve the issue that they have. Because what they have is an issue that is much beyond resources. What they have is a lack of relationships. And so what we're trying to explain today is that the response to an issue like homelessness, the response to an issue like poverty, has to be rooted in relationship. And it has to be rooted in a relationship that is centered around Jesus Christ. Because I know in my own life, and I think in everybody else's life, that the defining moment that we have is that moment when we give our life to Jesus, when we reconcile ourselves, our broken selves, into a relationship with Jesus. That's the only way that we're ever truly, fully healed. And so he died on the cross to give us the opportunity to experience that life. And so when we look at issues like homelessness, like poverty, we have to know and we have to take an approach that is rooted in a relationship with Jesus. And it's rooted in relationships overall. It's not rooted in just resources being given to somebody who has a need. It goes much, much deeper than that. True healing comes through relationships. True healing comes from walking alongside someone, being their support over the course of time. It comes through a process of instituting a process that allows them to heal in that time because you're in relationship with them. You're not just giving them one thing and walking away or some things and walking away. You are entering into a relationship with them the same way that Jesus enters into a relationship with us. It's that relationship that's going to make all the difference in the world. It's not going to be just the $1 million that you hand them the day that they come up to you. It's going to be over the course of the months and maybe years after you meet that person, after you said, you know what, I can't give you this thing, but what I can give you is a relationship. That's where they find the healing. That's where they find the transformation. Too often, in this country especially, we think that the answer to the issues are just things, and that is far from the truth. And I'll tell you, I think that the difficulty is we arrive at that solution because we're not willing to commit to something more. We're not willing to commit to the time that it takes to be in relationship with somebody in need. We're not willing to commit to the messiness that may come from walking alongside someone in need. But I'll tell you, in my own life, it was only through relationships, first with a relationship with Jesus, and second, with a relationship with a group of believers walking alongside me in the time that I needed it most, that I was able to experience the transformational change that allowed me to live out the life that I had dreamed of for so long but could never achieve. I'm not so unlike somebody who's living on the streets today or is stuck in the cycle of poverty. Although I may have a lot of things and I've been blessed with material possessions that allow me to enjoy the safety and the stability of a roof over my head, That is true, and I have to be very thankful for that. But I'm still, at the end of the day, not that different than someone who's stuck in the cycle of poverty, if only because what works for me still works for them, no matter if I have more resources, because what worked for me was a relationship with Jesus. And so when we look at creating solutions, when we look at creating programs, when we look at building organizations that are going to help people in need, it has to be rooted in, it has to be centered around relationships. A relationship with Jesus, a relationship with God, and then a relationship with a group of passionate, committed people who will walk alongside those that are experiencing homelessness, those that are stuck in the cycle of poverty for an extended period of time, so that they will have the space, they will have the comfort, they will have the support to heal, and heal in a way that really leads to transformational change, so that they can get out of the cycle that they have been stuck in. Because that is the only way that this community, that our country, that this world will ever achieve the things that we so desperately want. Whether it be comfort, whether it be peace, whether it be love, they are rooted in relationship. Sometimes, though, that's the thing that we're worst at, is relationships. But the good news is we have a guiding light in all of this. And that guiding light is the example that Jesus set when he walked here on earth, when he was in relationship with people living at the margins, when he treated everyone the same way that he treated anyone else. He treated them in a way that gave them humanity. He treated them in a way that gave them hope. And by following that example that Jesus has given us to create relationships that best imitate what Jesus did himself, that is where we can start to achieve these things that in today's world, in today's culture, seem to be so elusive. They seem to be so hard to achieve. Love, peace, compassion, and comfort, where are they today? Well, they're far away because oftentimes we're not looking in the right place. We're looking in the wrong place. We have to look in the right place. We have to start with a relationship with Jesus, and then we have to build relationships around that primary relationship that provides the thing that is so often lacking in our lives and the lives of those who are living at the margins. The positive relationship, a group of believers coming around, circling around, and walking alongside over the course of time, so that together, not us and them, not, separated by the differences in our life, but together as a team, in collaboration, in love, we both achieve the transformation that we need. We meet everyone where they are. We go to the margins not to save people. We go to the margins to be saved ourselves. That is where we start to see everything that we're desiring to see in the world that we're walking around in each day. That's where the broken are healed. So what we have to remember is pretty simple, honestly. It's that we're all broken. And the change that we want to see in someone else's life is the change that we need to desire in our own. That we're broken together, that we're healing together, that we're walking alongside each other, not us to them, but us together. Us together as a community, us together as a community of believers, us together in pursuit of Jesus, the one that we know can only bring about the transformational change that everyone needs.